Welcome to Our Best Self, a discussion sharing forum to help you see habits and practices that will lead to your happiness and success personally and professionally. Mental strength, happiness, health, business success, and the gamut at large. Welcome back, guys, to Our Best Self. One of the things that I think about and use in my day is a tool that has really proven to let me have better focus and better comfort in the day. And we all have different methods and tactics on how we see and organize our day, how we think about our feelings and what we're trying to achieve. And one method that I have practiced every day for years is the act of journaling. Now, journaling for me allows me to have better focus in the day, allow me to free my mind of my inner monologue and put it on paper, and it allows me to have more comfort in the day. So when I'm done with those moments, I'm free of the burdens. And then if I need to come back to it, I can come back to the paper and with my mind together, right? So I carry both the emotion and the nuances from what the journal has recorded. Now, journaling should be personal and it should be for you. Now, that doesn't mean that we journal in a locked room with a special pen and a specific book. Journaling can happen any time of the day. It should be a natural flow. I began journaling in one of my classic simple Moleskine notebooks, and I think I got that one free at a conference. And what my habit became and grew, because originally when I was in meetings, I would write down what were kind of the takeaways from that meeting, and I'd put a little date on it. And over time, I started to write down nuances about the people, about how I felt, and I started to kind of use stars and lines and arrows and all these different symbols that for me showed the energy of that encounter and that experience. Well, as I kept that practice of journaling and writing in those meetings, I began to also, when I would sit down for coffee, when I would sit down early in a meeting and nobody was there, I would write down my thoughts. I would write down what was on my mind. And now when I look back at my 10 to 13, whatever journals that I have stacked up on the bookshelf, you can see the flow of it was pure note-taking and business, very, very serious. and then it started to weave in what I was experiencing. And some of my books are just journals. They're just my personal feelings, a diary, if you will. And it's fun when you look back is that I've written on beautiful paper and moleskins because they were gifts, and I've written on spiral notebooks and legal bound pads because that's what I had, right? And that is one of the huge takeaways is it has to be something as simple as just writing. Now, writing on my phone with my thumbs does not provide the same benefit. It has to be physically done with your hand to parchment. Now, I see many people use a pen with like an iPad, and they have created themselves a very clean process where they're able to write in there and record it, and they're very structured, and that's great, right? That works for for them in that situation. But I would caution the use of just technology and digital technology because formats change. We lose our devices. And there's just something different than you being able to doodle with your hand as you're trying to express a feeling or an excitement around a certain topic. And so I really press for people to use a marker, a pen, a crayon on paper. And so the act of journaling, though, there is a few key things I would suggest you do that will really help you. And this is something that I incorporate when I am working with people that I coach. And I ask myself these questions in every one of my journals. And it's as simple as when you start your day, you grab your notebook and you ask yourself 2 questions. The first is, what will be amazing today? And the second is, what am I grateful for today? And you write down 3 things for each. That's it. That is your journal. Start here. I ask these 2 questions because I have found that over the years, they encourage the right thinking for me and for those that I love and I want to see succeed. And they help steer my life. And it sounds incredible that just 2 little sentences could do that. But let's just take a second. What are you grateful for? When I am forced to answer that, in the beginning it was my health, and then it was my daughter, and then it was, the season and family and, my mom. And then then we started to kind of run out of the easy ones. And I had to start really thinking what am I grateful for right now? And the goal is that we don't repeat. You absolutely can, but the goal is to not. Because if you don't repeat, imagine how deep you look into your life to see what you're grateful for. When you really start embracing gratitude around seeing what you have versus what you don't have. Because too often, I feel we, as animals, are chasing to acquire and achieve. Well, those are all things that we don't have today. And it creates, in some folks, stress and anxiety. But it equally can deliver hunger and energy to pursue, which are very positive. But it's important that we also experience and savor what we do have in our lives. So that's what writing 3 things about what you're grateful for and why it matters. What will be amazing today is an interesting hack. It forces us to see the day forward and try to either manifest certain positive feelings and occurrences and happenings, or it allows us to see what is possible to happen in the day. And so by writing what will be amazing today, we're not wishing for that amazing to happen. We are writing what we feel will make this day amazing. And if we say that, these are things that are in our control. It being sunny today, it will not make my day amazing. Me being able to go and run for 20 minutes would make my day amazing. Because I can control that. I can't control if it rains. I can't control if it snows. I can't control if I'm running indoors or outdoors based on how the day goes. But I can control that I give myself those 20 minutes to go for a run. And so when I think about what is amazing today, what is possible today. Amazing needs to meet that description, right? It needs to be something that you'll look back at the end of the day and go, that was great. That was amazing. That's exactly, it was a perfect day. The journaling and these two simple ideas are just to give us anchor for gratitude and then seeking out amazing forward. I definitely write more in my journals. I write what I'm feeling. I'm writing what I want to see happen in the day. And that's the point. Some days my journal entries are just a few lines, and other days they're an entire page. So write down every day, preferably in the morning, and answer those two questions with 3 markers. It will give you energy. It will help you as you are pursuing. And that's what it's all about. I have journaled for over the last, looking at these notebooks, 12 years. I have spells where I didn't journal. I have times when I'm more personal and more full of expression about what I'm feeling. But they're all me. And so when I open an old journal and I see the words and I start reading a little bit, it takes me back to that moment. And it helps me today, right? Because I might open a page where I was really suffering, where I was in one of my bad dips in my life. And I see that and I realize that, wow, I am really a lot better off today than I was back then. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I really let that part of my life go away, right? I did Ironmans for years, and then just basically stopped after a period, right? And so in my journals, you can see a lot of detail about training at a massive scale, right? Huge volume, right? Like I'm happy nowadays to get 6 great hours of training in a week at NBK, and getting in my fitness that way, my health that way, and my community, and my deep immersion in the sports of human performance. And I used to train 19 to 23 hours a week, running, biking, and swimming. And that was it. There was no other activities. So your journals are your gateway to having better clarity about the day, more gratitude, being more empathetic to yourself as you are driving yourself forward. And quite frankly, they are super fun to look at as the years go by. I have lost a journal or two, and that's okay. Because I put down those feelings, I lived that life, and that was me. I get benefit, yes, by seeing them old, but the result and the impact on your life, a little journal a day, will be huge. So go ahead, give it a try. I would suggest you start at least the next 30 days writing 3 things that you're grateful for and 3 things that will make the day amazing. And then look at that at the end of the day before you go to bed. How'd you do? And kind of visualize if you feel like that was the right way to spend your day. And what happens is when we're fresh in the mornings and we see clearly where we want to go, what we want to do, you can then adjust the next morning and build on that positive energy. So I wish you well. Have an amazing day. And let me know how this tip helps you out.
Thank you for listening to Our Best Self podcast. This is a passion project where I'm sharing the daily writings and studies from around the world and best that I can find for you.